At the beginning of the 13th century, the huge Khwarezm Empire was formed in the Middle East. The Khwarezm Empire conquered neighboring countries one after another with a powerful army, and eventually became a hegemonic power in the Middle East. Before the Mongol invasion, the Khwarezm Empire was a kingdom that occupied vast territory in what is today Iran, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan. Mongolia had no hostility toward the huge and powerful Khwarezm Empire and wanted to make peace with the Khwarezm Empire. One day, a delegation arrived in Otrar, a border city of the Khwarezm Empire. The delegation from the east wanted to trade with them. The delegation from the east wanted to make peace and encourage trade with their country by bringing 450 merchants and 500 camels and expensive silk and other goods, wishing for mutual benefit. However, Inalchuq, the governor of Otrar and a relative of Mohammed II, killed all the members of the delegation. This move was an obvious provocation against Mongolia, but Genghis Khan thought that this unfortunate event was caused by the sole decision of Inalchuq, not Mohammed II. So Genghis Khan of Mongolia again sent a Mongol and Muslim delegation to demand the punishment of Inalchuq and an apology from Mohammed's court. However, with the consent of Sultan Mohammed II, Inalchuq of the Khwarezm Empire killed some of the delegation and sent back to some of the delegation with their beards cut off. Cutting off the beard of men symbolized the same thing as being emasculated. The monarch of the eastern country was furious at this and led his army and marched towards the Khwarezm Empire. In fact, Mohammed was well aware of the might and cruelty of the Mongols and was afraid of that the Mongols might overtake his kingdom. When a delegation of 450 men arrived from Mongolia, Mohammed suspected that they were Mongolian espionage agents. Moreover, the letters the messenger sent to Mohammed contained the phrase, "You are my beloved son." In fact, in Mongolia, this phrase was a common expression of intimacy with another person. But Allah on earth, Mohammed II was angry, thinking that it was an insult to him. In 1219, furious Mongols led an army of 200,000 men into Khwarezm. Before the attack, the Mongols sent spies to Khwarezm disguised as Muslim merchants. Through the spies, Khwarezm kingdom's military strengths, weaknesses, and terrain were assessed. Knowing that many of the cities of the Khwarezm kingdom were fortified, the Mongol leadership decided to use siege weapons used during the conquest of the Jin dynasty. The Mongols eventually conquered Bukhara. Genghis Khan, who conquered Bukhara, went up to the podium and gave a speech saying, "God sent me because you have committed a great sin." He said that he was a messenger sent by God. At that time, 20,000 Turk soldiers were guarding the castle in Bukhara. Terrified, the Turk garrison broke through the encirclement and attempted to escape. When such attempts to escape were unsuccessful, the residents of Bukhara surrendered and opened the gates. The whole Turkic garrison guarding Bukhara had been killed. The villagers believed that opening the gates would save their lives. The victorious Mongols ravaged the city with horrendous looting, destruction, and burning across beautiful and prosperous Bukhara, killing many of its inhabitants and taking some into slavery. The Mongols continued to attack and capture the city of Otrar in the Khwarezm Empire. The Mongols captured Inalchuq, the governor of Otrar, who had killed a Mongol envoy, and killed him by pouring boiling mercury into his eyes and ears. Dismayed by the news of Otrar's fall, Sultan Mohammed II of the Khwarezm Empire strengthened his defenses. However, the whereabouts of the Mongols suddenly became unclear. Mongols suddenly appeared from the north, south, east, and west, occupied the city, burned it, and then disappeared again. The Khwarezm army could hardly keep up with the speed of the Mongols. Eventually, the Mongol army moved to Samarkand, the capital of Khwarezm, which had a strong fortress and 110,000 troops defending it. Of the 110,000 men, 60,000 were Turk from various tribes and 50,000 were Tajik. Because they were soldiers from different races, their loyalty to each other was weak and their morale was low. Genghis Khan lured 50,000 of the Samarkand garrison out of the castle with his favorite retreat and lure operation and annihilated them with a surprise attack. When 50,000 of the 110,000 men were annihilated, Samarkand of Khwarezm became a candle in the wind and everyone trembled in fear. Moreover, when Mohammed Shah's attempt to send reinforcements failed, the desperate garrison surrendered 5 days after the siege began. The Mongols first took all the inhabitants of Samarkand to the field outside the castle, slaughtered all but some useful technicians and some artisans and artists who were to be taken to Mongolia, and thoroughly destroyed and plundered the prosperous city. According to records, 950,000 people were slaughtered in the fort of Samarkand. Of course, this number may be exaggerated, but like Hitler in World War II, the Mongols brutally slaughtered countless civilians. The Mongols exploited existing weaknesses and conflicts in the Khwarezm Empire, besieging and plundering the richest city while putting its citizens to the sword in one of the bloodiest wars in human history. The successor Sultan Jalal ad-Din also fled and resisted the Mongols desperately. Mohammed II, seeing the power of the Mongols, decided that there was no chance of winning an all-out war and fled, and the cities that resisted the Mongols were on their own without external support and were occupied and then massacred. After an unsuccessful attempt to assemble an army on his way to western Iran, Mohammed II escaped to an island in the Caspian Sea where he died of a fatal disease. The Mongols pursuing Mohammed II reached Russian lands during the pursuit. This was the first encounter between Russia and Mongolia, which subsequently developed an elevated relationship.